What are the benefits and the drawbacks to getting feedback on your application? Today I'm going to talk about what are the good things and what are the not so good things that you need to be aware of when you're asking for feedback from different people around your selection criteria. Hi, I'm Michelle Davis and I'm a teacher career coach. I help teachers transition out of the classroom and into leadership roles. So today I'm really going to talk about benefits of feedback and the drawbacks of feedback around your application specifically. So you've put in for an application or you're writing a selection criteria response and you're needing to get feedback. And so I wanted just to frame some of the things that are really positive about getting feedback and some of the things that you can be aware of. All right, so let's do the negatives first. So what are the drawbacks to getting feedback? The biggest one I've seen is that there is a conflict of information, especially if you're going to a lot of different sources, which can happen around here. I've written something. Can you please read it and let me know what you think? What you can get is a bunch of different conflicting messages from different people. One leader thinks it's this way, another leader thinks it that way, and they're going to try and do their best to tell you why their way is better and help you reform what you've already written. And that can be really confusing because then so-and-so said this and then you change it. And then so-and-so said this and you change it back. And you end up going backwards and forwards a little bit. So do be aware that conflict information can happen and you need to weigh up the importance of that feedback that you're getting. If you're getting feedback from someone who's been on a lot of panels and recent panels and has applied for jobs recently themselves, then their feedback is going to be very different than someone who's been in a role for 5+ years and hasn't tried out for anything else new. Within 5 years, the environment of interviewing and going for different positions will have changed, most definitely. So really weigh up who you're asking for feedback from and also how far removed are they from the roles you might be applying for. So sometimes if you have a new leader giving you feedback and you are trying to become a leader at an equivalent level of them, then you would hope that the information that they're giving you is for your best information, for your best interest. The other drawback of getting feedback can be that it can be very one-sided. So the feedback you're getting, if you're only asking one person, only comes through their lens and their experiences they've had. And of course it's going to happen because we're all human. We can only talk to and give feedback from what we see, hear, and read. And so do be mindful that asking for multiple sources is good, but don't go too broad. Just keep it within a couple. Sometimes the drawback of getting feedback is sometimes you don't get any. And this can come down to that you just weren't timely enough in asking for feedback, or you waited a little bit too long to get up the courage to ask for feedback after an unsuccessful application. And everyone's moved on and they would have to bring it back out and bring it into the recent memory. And so it's just easier to not give feedback. Another one can be that the kind of feedback you get is absolutely useless. It's the kind of, you did really well. You were just, that we interviewed 4 people and you were number 5. So if you just keep working, you'll become one of those people eventually. Utterly useless feedback because there's nothing you can action. There's nothing that's there. I wouldn't even call that feedback because I have a video on this. Feedback needs to be about growing forward and providing, potential success. Potential success can't be doing the same thing over and over again because if you did, you would be sitting in that interview room and that would be a different level of feedback. So when you're talking about your actual selection criteria or your response or your application, whatever it is, then you need something that was not right and how to make it right. And you need to know what was not right so you can move that forward. All right. Obviously, the benefits to feedback are vast, but the main ones that I have when people come to work with me is that they learn so much about themselves. They learn a lot about when reflecting on the feedback that they're given. They're learning, yes, about their processes and everything else, but they learn about their own thoughts and their own beliefs and their own limiting beliefs that are holding them back. And often that is a lot of mindset work that I do with people, is being able to take the feedback that they're given and listen to the way they're talking about it, because that's giving clues about what's truly holding them back. You get to learn about the processes. So, if you put an application in and you're not getting an interview, then there's a hole potentially in your leadership processes. So when you're getting feedback, making sure that you're talking it out and you're going, okay, well, what was wrong in this spot? What could you do to move forward, so that you're learning better about the processes and also about the process of applying itself, and who do you ask feedback from? And if you're not asking questions, then you'll never know. What about the benefit of the feedback and learning about the next time? So future you, what would that person have done to be able to be one of those people in the interview room? And knowing what that is, you then can backwards map, okay, well, as I'm doing this, I need to incorporate this piece of feedback and this step, so that as I move forward, I'm improving my process, and I'm also that future pacing and being able to actually improve it for next time. Benefit of feedback is your name is out there. Your name is on the people's lips because you've done something. You've put something out there to show that you're interested in moving into leadership, and you've asked for feedback about that as well. Puts you in a very different pool of people rather than teachers working in class and improving their teaching practice. This is about you improving your leadership practice. And the number of times that has boded very well for people is quite a number. The network you have can equal the connections that you can potentially rely on for the future. I've had situations where a principal from one school has called another principal and said, look, I need someone to help out. I can't use my people for a dozen different reasons. Do you have anyone that we could use that would just step in and go? And, is that aspiring leader? And if you are asking for feedback, putting in applications, getting and implementing that feedback, then your name is at the top of their mind, so that they can go, actually, you know what? I've got this person. I should be able to release them for whatever reason. Yes, you can, this person might be a good fit. And so you can approach it that way, because if you aren't applying and if you aren't putting yourself out there, your name won't be on that list. All right. So asking for feedback, the benefits and the drawbacks of what we've just covered here. And it's not rocket science, but it is sometimes good to be able to put a slightly different spin on some of the things, rather than being afraid of asking for feedback or not asking in a timely fashion. So if you're interested in applying some feedback that you've been given into your leadership practice, you can reach out and we can have a chat. I do 30-minute free chats around how I could help you within your leadership journey, which can include putting into place application feedback. I also can help out with interview feedback, and perhaps it's feedback on the program that or the project you're doing right now, and you want to make sure that you can use it in your story, and you want to know what the holes are before you start. And so I do a bit of that work as well. All right, I've been Michelle Davis, and I hope to see you and help you along your leadership journey.